What's up, guys? Welcome back to SewGnar Sewing Pattern Sewing channel. Let's see how many times we can say sewing in one sentence. Today I'm showing you how I made this Dayna Pack. This is by Linds Handmade. This was, I believe, her first pattern, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a hot minute since I made one of these, and I gotta say, it's as fun as I remember. I love how quickly it comes together. It's super cute, and so many ways to customize just a straightforward design. While it's not a huge bag, it is great for those of us who don't carry a lot, which I know I say that in a lot of my videos, but I literally carry like nothing. But it just did dawn on me. I'm about to take my dogs for a walk, and so I'm gonna put all my stuff in my fanny pack and take it with me. Because instead, I'll just be carrying my leashes and my phone and just too much stuff in my hands. So anyways, I digress. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Do me a favor and leave me a comment, like, share, repin it. Hey, go crazy. All right, guys, enjoy. I have all of the pieces of my Dayna Pack cut and ready to go. I've got my outside, my exterior back. This is going to make up my two front pieces in between the zipper. This is my strap anchor. I have my straps over here and my little side panel guys. I also have my cotton, and I have it interfaced, and I just used 808 on here. So the first thing I'm going to do is transfer the marks from the pattern piece from the front main panel onto the interfacing side of my lining. And also my front. And then what you do is you're just going to fold it until those two lines meet on the bottom. I'm just going to clip it and repeat for all of the others. So if you look down from the bottom curve, you can kind of just eyeball or like see where those lines are going to meet up at, and then clip it. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and get started on the top of my zipper panel as well, just because I'm over here, and why not? Oh, here it is. So I am using a metal tooth zipper. This zipper is longer than what the pattern calls for, but I am just going to be extra careful when I sew over my teeth. I'll hand crank, and that way I'll skip my metal teeth and I won't break my needle. But as I'm creating, you're gonna see that the zipper is a lot wider. And so just like normal with every other pattern, I'm gonna make that zipper sandwich. I always like my zippers to start or to open from the left to the right. So I am making sure that my zipper head is on my left-hand side. As always, Beacon Fabri-Tac. That is the glue that I'm using. Yes, it dries as quickly as it seems like it does in the videos. I am not fast forwarding through any of this. This stuff is the best. All right, so we've got that going. I'm just gonna move this to the side. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and get my strap prepped as well. And so I'm making a 1-inch strap. And so I'm gonna do the same thing that I always do. And I have my 2-inch wide. This will be the bottom collar. And I'm just gonna fold it in towards the center and bobby pin it into place. So my strap length is going to be, I have it 46 inches long, and so that's gonna, well, after I fold over the edges and sew it together, it's gonna make my strap about 45 inches long. And I did that so that it can fit a multitude of body sizes, and that way you could wear it over your shoulders if you wanted to, or, you know, however, if you want to string it around your stroller or shopping cart, I don't care. But I wanted to make it longer so that you could wear it any way that you wanted to. Okay, so I'm going to pop to the machine. Oh, let me see. I have to piece this other side of my zipper, or my strap. So I'm going to pin these together and sew that when I'm at the machine. So I'm going to go over there and get all of this stuff sewn together. So I am practicing my sewing with this new setup. Be sure to let me know in the comments what you think, if you don't like this angle here, or if it's too dark or whatever, and I will make some adjustments. But first I am going to sew down the zipper sandwich that I created a minute ago. I'm going to sew cork side up using a quarter, about 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then, as always, I am not going to fold both sides back. I'm just going to reach in here and fold up my cork side, finger press, and then top stitch. And then now we have the top section of our zipper. Next thing I need to sew is my strap together. This will be the top part of my strap. Of course, I didn't cut it the same width. Why would I do that? Finally, I need to sew down these corners that I marked earlier. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is get the other side of my zipper sandwich going. And so I'm going to take my exterior bottom and lay it right side down on the right side of the zipper tape. I'm just going to lay my lining right side down. I'm just going to clip this because it is trying to peel up a little bit because I sewed those curves in the bottom down here. All right, so that is setting up. I'm going to go ahead and lay my strap down. I messed up on my cutting a little bit, so I just need to trim this up and make sure it's all the same. So you can see where this side's bigger. So I'm just going to trim that side down. And then, of course, so since I'm doing a 1-inch strap, this top section, the accent color, is going to be 0.75 inches. And now I'm just going to lay this right on top of my already pinned strap. And then when I get to this join in the cork, I'm just going to butterfly it open so that it lays flatter. You see I have a lot of excess here. I'm just going to trim that off. Alright, so now I need to go sew this together, and then I'll go ahead and get my strap done and out of the way. Ooh. Try that again. My lining got caught over here in my little sneaky door, and so my stitches got a little wild and crazy. Just need to pick those out. I'm a pretty big stickler for having straight stitches. Gosh, I made a bifold wallet with ID slot today, and I unpicked it probably 3 times because I was not happy with it. I'm going to trim these little guys out of the way. And then now, your lining and your outer should nest nicely together. Everything should be nice and lined up. Actually, let me go that way. So here's the front panel already. All right, so I've got my strap over here. Oh, it's stuck in my hair because the bobby pins. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and get this done. Alright, so the next step is to take your lining back liner, sorry, but your back liner and lay it right side down, and we're going to clip it into place, right sides together to the front main panel. Sorry, that was a total brain fart moment. So you need to have a 1/4 inch overlap here along the top. So I am going to start there, so that way it is right. I find that this step of the pattern can be a little wonky, but this pattern is very forgiving, so I'm not super concerned if it looks a little weird, because you won't notice in the end. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to ease this in a little, like as much as possible. It's giving me a little bit of HE double hockey sticks, but I think I got it for the most part. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to go and I'm going to baste this all the way around, down, and back up. And then this is going to be left open. And I'm going to bring my side pieces, these guys, over because that's the next step. So very important in this step, if your zipper is longer, like if your zipper head is over here like mine is, you need to make sure that you unzip it. Otherwise, you're gonna have to pick those stitches out. So I'm gonna unzip that. And now I'm just gonna sew around. And I'm gonna actually sew from the Cork side, just so that way I can keep an eye on my zipper since it's metal and I don't run over my zipper teeth. So I'm just going to skip right over my zipper for now. Alright, so now this is a full pocket, and there's access here, which we will use later. So I'm going to grab one of my little side pieces, and I'm just going to lay it on the right side of my completed panel and clip it. And you want to do it to where there's a little bit of a dog ear up here, or whatever kind of ear. You just want there to be a little bit of overhang, because then after we sew it and we flip it, that way this line is straight and not at an angle, which I have also accidentally made them at angles. Again, this pattern is very forgiving, but see, you can see that it's gonna have that little stick up area after we flip it. So make sure you keep that in mind. And then I'm just gonna clip mine down the side. And then repeat for this side. All right, so you need to sew this at a 3/8 seam allowance is what she calls for, which I don't think I ever knew that until I just read the pattern again. All right, so since I'm getting close to my metal zipper, I'm just gonna start hand walking so I don't hit it. There we go. And then you flip this guy, and then we're going to top stitch it into place. Again, I'm going to hand crank my needle over my zipper. And there we go, we have one side. Oh, I forgot how quick this pattern comes together. How fun. You can see I kind of overshot that side a little bit, but that's fine. I'm just going to trim it and make it all straight. And this side I did pretty darn good. But here we go. All right, so now we have the completed front panel, and she is looking mighty fine. I am just going to trim down my zipper in here. I'm not even going to worry about trimming down the actual tape because it's not going to interfere with anything, and then that way I don't mess with the integrity of the zipper teeth. And so now I just need to straighten out this top line here, cut off those ears. And then I am just going to trim, I have a little bit of excess here from my curves, so I'm going to trim that down just a touch. Okay, now is when we're going to sew the back lining, the main back panel, to the front to create the actual bag. But because I am omitting the 2 D-rings, I'm just doing 1. Oh, so I need to do that too. But since I'm just doing the 1, what I'm going to do is sew one side of the zipper into, or not zipper, one side of the strap into this, so then when it's flipped right side out, this strap will be connected on this side, and then you can unhook it from this side. But I'm actually going to do it on this side because I'm right-handed and I don't really know. Sorry, lefties. I'm actually going to overlap it about 1/2 inch as well, so then I can put a couple rivets in here just for added durability after the fact. And then for my D-ring attachment, instead of using 1 inch, I'm going to use a 3/4 inch D-ring. So it's just a little bit thinner. It's easier to sew around too. And I'm just going to cut mine down to 2 inches. Throw some glue on here. And then this D-ring will get clipped into place on the opposite open corner. And you want the hardware facing towards the bag. So I did mine by 2 inches, and I'm only overlapping this one just a little bit because I'm gonna put the rivets on the actual bag. I don't know, I just didn't really make it long enough. I think if I was to recut it, I would do it by 2.5. So then I could have it overhanging a little bit more, and then the rivets will hit into that side. Alrighty, so need to get all of this out of the way. So we're just going to coil it up and clip it. I can't remember if the zipper needs to be undone. I don't think it does, but just in case. I've gotten into some jams that way, so I'm just going to unzip it because why not? Alright, so now we are ready to take the exterior main back panel and start clipping it on. And this, talk about wonky, this gets a little wild. At least for me. I've never had one go on like beautifully before, but again, you can't tell at the end, so it's kind of the perfect project for that. Just mess up and keep it moving. I'm gonna flip my darts in toward, or I guess out, I don't really know. I'm gonna flip them this way so that this curve comes up a little bit, because it seems like it'll fit a little bit better. And Lindsay, if you watch this video and I'm doing something that is like so irritating to you, I apologize. I guess this is what makes us all different, right? We all work different ways. You're probably cringing. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you're like, oh, smart. Who knows? All right, just working my way around. There we go. So we're all clipped and ready to go. And I'm gonna sew from this side because what we're gonna do is we're gonna sew across the top, excuse me, but because we left that gap here, excuse me, I've tickled my throat. Because we left that gap here, we're not gonna even catch this bottom, or the lining pocket back. So we're just gonna smooth sew all the way down and around. I'm just going to pick somewhere to start. Use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Just sew around the entire perimeter. You know what, I'm going to slide my strap in just a little bit because I forgot that I'm going to have that 1/4 inch seam allowance here, so it's going to give me a full 1/2 inch to rivet to. There we go. Okay, so now I just need to trim down my seam allowance, and especially focusing on the curves so that it lays nicely. I always use pinking shears for this because I feel like it has the same effect as when you clip into corners to make them rest nicely against each other. I feel like pinking shears do that automatically because they cut everything at an angle. So I'm going to leave this and across the top straight. Okay, so the next thing you do is you're going to open up, look in through this pocket. It's a good thing that I unzipped because, of course, I would have been SOL. And we're going to flip everything right side out. I just like to roll the cork edges to my fingers, and then if you have something sharp, you can poke up into your corners. And just be sure to finger press all of your cork edges well. Through. All right, so now if you look inside your bag, you have this raw edge here and you have that turning birthing hole. And what she has you do in the pattern is to just kind of lay it nice and flat and then top stitch. And then you would encase that. It almost makes it like a French seam, but an inside out French seam. So I'm just going to finger press super well, and clip into place, and then go top stitch. In her pattern, she says to top stitch around, so across the top and then down and around, down to here, I believe. Yeah, so to there. And it makes it have a much flatter profile, but I've only done that on a couple of mine. Normally what I do, because the cork, on these seams, the cork gets super thick because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 layers of cork right there. I have a propensity of breaking needles on those. So typically what I do is I just stitch from this seam here across to that seam there. Sometimes I'll do a double stitch. And if I'm feeling wild, then I will stitch all the way across and down and around, but that is up to you. The important part is that you want to encase that seam that's up in here. So my only beef with this is then I feel like this seam on the back is just super random because it's just by itself. And so if you do finish it and you go all the way around, I feel like it would probably look a little bit better, but then it's still going to be free floating down here at the bottom. So I don't really know. I'm kind of torn about that. But from the front it looks really good because you have lots of other stitch lines as well. And so it just blends in really well. And let's see if I actually caught it all. The moment of truth. Feels pretty good up there. Yeah, so you can feel the whole seam is just within this 1/4 inch seam allowance here. And there's the inside. Get some hardware on this baby. I have to lean so far forward now to turn my phone on. My table is huge. Great problem to have. But anyways. All right, so we are to the last step. I went ahead and marked and cut out or punched out 2 holes in this edge of my strap. And because the one side is already attached, we can't attach we can't make it adjustable the normal way, the easy way, so we have to do this the hard way, but we will do it. So the way that we're going to do this is make sure your strap is not twisted. You're going to go up and over your center bar. Give yourself some slack. Just cut yourself some slack. You're going to feed a loop back up and through, and then you're going to take this excess and slide it back through and over that center bar again. And so it's going to look like this. And this is why I cut the holes first, because now I can just use the holes that are already there as my guideline. I don't have to try to finagle with holding anything and eyeballing it. I know that the holes are going to be where they need to be. And I am going to insert my rivets. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot to put my other hardware on there, so now I have to take it all off. So, I'm going to cut through it all. It's a good thing I made this strap really long. Oh my gosh. Shoo! Let's try a different pair of scissors. So we're going to do all that again, except this time we're going to do it right. What an idea. That is a Linds Fabric Fusion that I just put on here. To seal the edges of the cork. So I'm going to punch my holes again. All right. Okay, so we've got it threaded through, and then we need to add our clip, our lobster clasp, and then you go back up, oops, and then you go back up and over. And just because now I'm really second guessing everything that I'm doing, good thing I'm teaching you guys what to do, huh? Just kidding. Yeah, so that's right. Okay, just wanted to be sure before I did it again, or before I messed up again. So now we're gonna punch the holes and re-rivet, and then we will be all done. Right. There we go. So now we have an adjustable strap that connects to this guy. Oh, goodness. Gotta use a strong hand. Oh my gosh, jeez. I don't work out enough. So there. The very last thing I'm going to do is add one rivet to this area to reinforce those seams so that, I mean, it's not a huge fanny pack, so you can't really fit a whole bunch in there, but you know, sometimes my customers really surprise me. They can really jam a bag full. And then they bring it back to you like, it broke. Quit carrying around bricks, Sharon. Okay, sorry. Enough of that. So I'm just going to use my template tool again to line up. And then this, I'm just going to do one rivet. There we go. All right, we made it. We're done. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video of the Linds Handmade Dayna Pack. I will leave the pattern link in the description box below. Do me a favor, hit the little thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and you can follow me. Find me on Instagram and Facebook at SewGnar. You can also join my sewing group. It is at SewGnar Sewing Patterns. There are some entry questions. Please answer them. It's only 3. It's really not hard. And yeah, until next time, I hope that you guys are staying happy and healthy out there amidst this pandemic that we are still in. And happy September. When did that happen? Gosh, it's going to be 2021 before we know it. So anyways, let's get there healthy and as one big group. I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I appreciate you.